Before I get carried away, I want everybody to give yourself a round of applause. Thanks for coming out. Thanks to Mr. John Avery for getting the ball rolling last week. I spoke to John earlier this week, and he said that he supports everything we're doing. He said to go out there and kick their ass. And I just want to say a few words today because I think it's important that there's not just one voice. And there's not one organization here, not one leader, that this is a movement of free people.
Yes. Yeah!
So why are we here today? I've said from the beginning that this isn't just about the masks. And if you don't pay real close attention about what goes on at the state, at the county, or in the city, you probably saw people getting riled up about masks and you're like, well, what's the big deal? Well, let me tell you what's the big deal. I was reading in the Herald down in the comments the other day and I saw somebody said, wow, these people are so ignorant. And you know what? I agree. Nobody knows shit. First it was, we gotta flatten the curve. Then it was talking about we need to stay inside until there's a cure. First it was 5 million Americans are gonna die. Then it was 70,000 deaths. Then they gotta change their numbers. 1,100 died in Colorado. Then it was 850. We had a couple of deaths in this area. Both of them turned out to be something else. That native kid that died over in Cortez had a blood alcohol of 0.55. Okay, when they filled out that death certificate, they were talking about the wrong corona. Yeah. But I'm saying there's a difference of dying with COVID and dying from COVID.
Yes. Yes.
There was a guy a few years back, his name was Socrates, maybe you heard of him. He said the only true wisdom is knowing that you know nothing. So like I said before, I don't know shit. Nobody knows what to believe. First it was no need to wear masks, then you have to wear masks. Now people will tell you that you're selfish and you're evil if you don't. Nobody's saying this virus isn't serious, but let me tell you something that you already know. This virus isn't going anywhere. And who knows what the best defense for this or any virus actually is. It's not wearing masks, it's not washing your hands, it's called herd immunity. And that starts with our own immune systems. It's the only defense we actually have. Yes. So if you can tell me that I have to wear a mask, I can tell you that you got to eat healthy, get plenty of exercise, plenty of vegetables. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, that's right.
But while we're on the subject of masks, let me be the first to say that if anybody needs to wear a mask, anybody chooses to do so on their own free will, you are welcome here.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't want to see people belittling folks for wearing a mask. I think that's stupid. I know folks have been saying that you're selfish and you're ignorant and it makes us mad. But it's time for us to rise above that. I want to say that this isn't a show of power, that this is a display of unity. Support for local businesses. So if you want to wear a mask, do it. We're not here against you. We're here with you. What we're here for is to support local businesses and against government overreach. Now what do I say when I mean government overreach? Let's start with the state. It's one thing if Polis wants to change public health orders, but it's something totally different when he starts using executive order to monkey with election laws.
Yeah.
He cherry picks what ballot initiatives can use online signatures. Then non-incumbents and independents, they're shut down. Charlie Meagler and Jack Turner are going to have 3 days to collect their signatures. So even if you don't plan on voting for them, sign their petitions because people deserve a choice.
That's right.
Meanwhile, our tyrant-in-chief, he goes to the White House and he totally lies about what's going on here.
Yeah.
He says,
we're open!
He says Colorado's open. Is there another Colorado that we don't know about?
Right.
I mean, this was weeks ago he said that. Then we've got the county, those geniuses. We all know about the land use code, and I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole. But as soon as the lockdown started, they kick it into high gear, knowing that we can't have public meetings. And that's not all. On April 15th this year, during a board discussion meeting, Clyde Church said that people that come here this summer, they need to quarantine in their houses for 2 weeks before they come into town. Does that sound like a great vacation?
Yeah.
At the same meeting, Gwen Lackle said, and this is a direct quote, she said, we prefer they don't come at all. And of course, you know, Julie, she's not going to be out progressive, so she suggested they write letters to mayors and governors in other states telling people not to come here. These are the same people that they're telling us we've got to convert into a tourism-based economy. I'm telling you, these guys are geniuses. What about that building permit moratorium? I'm sure you guys saw that. Construction is one of the most important industries we have. And when you look at the broader picture, it wasn't just about houses, it was development, it was real estate. It was going to affect everybody. They tried to pull that shit at a time when construction was the only thing keeping us afloat. They wanted to shut down for more than 6 months. And to hell with who it's going to affect. They're out of control. That leads me to the city. How many of you know that the city has a current case open with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation for embezzlement?
I do.
It's been going on since last
Julie
year.
Brown, Julie Brown, Julie Brown, Julie Brown.
And this year they submitted their budget. There was $10 million in errors. The entire budget is only $84 million. $10 million in errors.
Where'd it go?
The two new counselors, they started asking questions. And Brookie and the old guard, they didn't like that. So they shut them down. They muzzled them. Our city council is no longer allowed to ask questions about the budget. This is happening right now in your city. And then they write this stupid mask ordinance. And I'll be honest with you, if a business asks me to wear a mask on their own volition, I'll do it. But when you look at the big picture, this is the line. And I say, no, I will not comply. No. It's not that I disagree with the mandate. It's that they're power drunk. Government simply cannot be allowed to make it up as they go along. When this is all over, our state is going to be in a huge hole. There's already a $3.5 billion budget shortfall. Since March, 435,000 people in Colorado have filed for unemployment. And for every 1% increase in unemployment, there's a direct 1% increase in the suicide rate. We all know that that's already a problem. They say up to 40% of the furloughed jobs aren't going to be there when we do open back up. People's lives are being destroyed. How many businesses got to go bankrupt? All across the country, the money from the CARES Act has been used by the states to balance their budget, to pay for their years and years of incompetence. Here, the Gallagher Amendment is about to trigger the largest decrease in property taxes in state history. So they want to get rid of it. What else they gonna do? Who knows that they just got rid of the homestead exemption? With no discussion. I'm telling you, we're in for a bumpy ride. My question is, what is the government going to do next? Are they going to take a pay cut?
No.
Are they going to trim the fat off their budgets?
No.
Are they going to suddenly become fiscally responsible?
No.
They're going to cut funding to schools.
Yeah.
They're going to cut funding to roads, to police departments, to the things we really need. They're already starting. Look at INR.
Yep.
Huge budget cuts already. They want to get rid of Tabor, and they want to raise your taxes. So we're supposed to stand around like a bunch of cows, chewing the grass, waiting on our masters in Denver, in the county, in City Hall, waiting on them to tell us when and what we can do with our own lives, with our own property, with our own businesses.
And our own body.
We end up standing there like a beggar boy in a little bowl house. Please, sir, can I have some more stimulus, sir? Please? I don't want any more stimulus. I don't want any more corporate bailouts. I don't want any more incentive for the government to keep us locked down. That's not freedom. That's not America. And it's time to open up.
Yeah!
All right, so I've been talking too long already.
You did great.
I'm sorry, I get a little bit excited. So before we head downtown, Lou's going to say a couple words, but I want to say, I'm not trying to tell anybody what they can and cannot do, but we do want to go over a couple of guidelines. First of all, spend some damn money.
Yep.
All this talk is meaningless if we don't back it up. If you forgot your wallet, you didn't bring money, whatever, holler at me, I'll buy you a sandwich when we get down here. The businesses, they're out here, they want your support. Last week, Mr. Avery had the brilliant idea of videoing the march, so do that, especially if there's any type of negative interaction. There is another march going on, or protest going on at 7 o'clock in Buckley Park. Had an idea, maybe we get down there and do something real quick, because last week we just went down there and came back. If we do get down there and they are there, please don't even interact. We don't want any kind of issues. If you're gonna do a sit-down dinner, do it on the way back so that we can get to Buckley, we can have a minute, and then we can, you know, while we're there, 10 feet, groups of 10, 6 feet apart, blah, blah, blah. You guys know all this stuff. All right, thanks for coming. We're just gonna say a couple words and then we'll see you in the park.
Shouldn't we all be at a bar somewhere up on Main Street?
Yeah.
Having a beer? Keith, great job. Good job. Keith always comes with facts. And facts count. That's really, really important. And he always does that, and I always appreciate that. My name's Lou Webb, completely unimportant. What is important is us. This, right, huh? They can't hear me. I've never really been told I have a little voice, but okay. Look, what's important is us. You know, this is what's important. We are gathered here to push back on something that just isn't right.
Here, here.
It's not right what's going on. But Keith kind of filled you in on what's going on locally. Okay? You don't want to hear the same thing. It's like listening to the news and every talking head comes on and tells you the same story. So I think that what I would like to maybe talk about here a little bit is kind of the larger picture. Question. Do we have any conservatives here? Okay. Do we have any liberals here? Okay. Moderates? Okay. Here's the deal. This isn't a right-wing, left-wing, Democrat, Republican thing. This is a we the people thing. And we are all the people. That's us. All of us. It doesn't make any difference what your political affiliation is. This is just a question of, is government the answer or is government the problem? Right? That's I don't know. That's how I see it. I guess the question that I think that we avoid as we the people is who has the power in America?
We do.
We do.
We the people or the government?
We do.
But we've become fearful. I saw a sign over here. Let me see that. Fear does not stop death, it stops life. Okay? We've become fearful of our government. We're afraid of what our government is going to do to us if we don't, for example, wear a mask, or gather in more than 10, or go down the river in a frickin' raft and get too close to the other raft. We're afraid of that. Now let that sink in for a minute. We're afraid of our government. When did that happen to us? We're Americans, man. Think this right here, this red on these flags, that isn't just some sort of artistic kind of a deal. That stands for something. The freedom that we have, that we've become kind of fearful to exert, came at a great cost. And I mean over time. people have died for the freedoms that we enjoy, they would be rolling in their graves today to see how we have become complacent, somewhat subjugated. Dude, this is how slaves become slaves.
Right.
Excuse me, I'm not a very good speaker, so I gotta. I guess the question is, are we free or not?
We are.
Because today
And we need
we're
to act
acting
like
like
we're
it.
free.
In general, we don't. In general, we don't act like we're free. I completely believe that what's happening right now is a test.
I agree.
This is a test of our government to seeing just how much will comply.
That's right.
Right?
Here.
Right?
That's right.
Will you social distance? Will you wear a mask? Will you do what the... Sorry. Will you do what you're told? That's not the way it works here, gang.
Right.
Now look. No, you can't put your knee on some guy's neck and kill him. I don't care if you're a cop or not.
No.
No, you can't do that in America. But you've got to wear a red shirt on Fridays because we told you to? Hell no. You got to wear a mask? Hell no. Open.
Open.
Everybody needs to open, right?
Yes.
And here's the deal. As free Americans, we have the choice whether to go to that restaurant to eat or not.
Yes.
But to tell that restaurant you cannot be open, you cannot pursue your livelihood, you can't earn a living, that's bullshit. That's wrong. That is
Say it for
just
what it is, Lou.
not
It's bullshit.
the way it's supposed to work. The freedom is our choice to go there and buy a pair of shoes or a pair of pants, or isn't that how it works?
Right.
But here's the fear part. These businesses are afraid they're going to get their business license yanked if they open. Gang, if they all open at the same time, really?
That's right.
The city is going to yank every business license and destroy the economy of the entire town?
It's easy to say
Hell
for
no!
people who ain't got
We need
business.
to support it.
Pardon me?
Easy to say for people who ain't got businesses. It's got
Okay,
15
let me-
years
let me-
invested into a business.
Let me
That's right.
And
tell you
who's
the way
gonna
that
pay my
works.
fucking lawyer bills when everybody just opens for no fucking reason.
Let me
I'm totally with this, man. I think that this whole thing's been total bullshit. But you're asking me to put my kids' lives in jeopardy, my life in jeopardy, to just open up and say, let's just
Point
do
is,
it.
everybody does it.
Don't
But-
live in fear, bud.
My thing is how many business owners are here? How many business owners?
We lost ours, so we're
Downtown?
right there with you. Yeah.
Well, then
So
do it.
either you open or you just let the
Well, we're open right now.
Okay, so let me tell you
Be there.
what the answer is to this.
Together.
The Wild
Together.
Horse.
The answer is to this. Let's ask our forefathers. Did it take courage
Yeah.
to say to England, no more? We're not going to be oppressed. I'm not saying it doesn't take, you don't have to be brave to do it.
Well,
I'm
my
not
thing is,
saying there is no risk.
It's already
I'm saying that life is risky. Life has risk. You know, you get in or get out. In this case, I believe that our businesses need to open because I think this is a test of whether we will comply or not.
Amen.
So, here's the other thing that this is. This is continued development of government dependence. This is how socialism is done. Let's not go to work. Don't go to work. But hey, don't worry about it. We'll send you a government check. Right?
Yep.
Also, some people that can now go back to work go, well, wait a minute. I am actually making more sitting on my couch than I would if I went back to work. Our government is using we the people's money to pay we the people not to work. Look at CRP programs. We pay our farmers not to farm. This is how pets are made.
Using money we don't even have.
They are, and so right. At the end of the day, $6 trillion added to our already $25 trillion deficit or whatever it is. They have mortgaged her future and her kids' future and her great-grandkids' great-grandkids' future. That is untenable. We live in this world of sustainable. Everything has to be sustainable, sustainable, sustainable. Is that sustainable? No. The government is out of control. And I know I'm getting, you want me to quit. So, getting us to comply, getting us to follow rules, telling us you gotta wear a mask, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Folks, that's how fascism starts. And everybody wants to go, oh man, this is America. That can't happen here. Fascism can't happen here. Let's see. Let's ask the Germans in the 20s and 30s if they thought that could happen in Germany.
That's right.
What do you think the Chinese thought before Mao Zedong came along and changed that whole program? Russia and Stalin, that worked out pretty good for the Russians? No. Ceausescu in Romania, Pol Pot in Cambodia. I mean, this is how it starts. They start taking little freedoms, little bit of freedoms, and then you end up with fascism. So here's the deal about that. In a socialist governance model, the politicians have all the wealth and the power. Think about that. That's how it happens. That's why some of our politicians are really pushing, oh yeah. We don't want that to happen. So here's the deal about that. Those other countries, Germany, Russia, China, Cambodia, Romania, Iran, etc., etc., etc. Oh, they didn't have this one thing that we do.
Freedom.
Bill of Rights.
Second Amendment. We have teeth in our freedom. They didn't. Now look, that doesn't mean I am saying, hey, go pull a gun out on somebody. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying though is if push comes to shove, we can shove back. Don't let them ever take your guns. Don't let that happen. Don't let that happen. I'm gonna finish with two quick things, and they're both quotes. One of them is Isoroku Yamamoto, the architect of Pearl Harbor. We eventually shot him down towards the end of the war, but he actually was Harvard educated. He was in America, and he said the reason no one can ever invade mainland America is because there would be a gun behind every blade of grass.
Right. Yeah, there's two.
Okay? So here's the deal. That's why our government will never subjugate us. But it will take bravery and courage to stand up to it. Finally, last thing. This is Thomas Jefferson. And I'm sorry this took so long. Honor, justice, and humanity. forbid us tamely to surrender that freedom which we have received from our gallant ancestors and which our innocent posterity deserve to receive from us. Thanks for your ear.
Thank you. What's your name?
Lou Webb.
Lou Webb. Thank you.